Hello, this is Patrick, one of the wild guys. This is my YouTube intro with some of the other wild guys. We'll be canoeing and rafting rivers and lakes and actually out even into the Pacific Ocean throughout Northwest Territories, Yukon, and British Columbia. The wild guys welcome you back to Bowron Lake Chain Series number 2. You're going to be able to see a lot more scenery as we go along on series number 2. The Bowron Lake chain has a number of lakes and also a number of portages. They are well maintained and looked after, but you're going to have to do some work to get your gear pulled over to the next lake.
Bob and Brian have had a trouble with their wheels, but they're getting her fixed up. And then we got Jim here and Yogi. He's got on a 100-pound pack just a giving her. And then we got another canoe behind here.
Yeah. Damn it, it's fun.
There we go. Yeah, we don't need our paddles on this canoe trip. Just our hiking boots. Okay.
Yeah, do you want to do that side too?
Hey Bob, you want to undo that side too? How's she going, you guys, on your canoe trip?
There's too much supervision here.
Is that right? Anyways, they're getting things fastened down. It's a different kind of canoe. It's got wheels on it, so it's a sort of an amphibian type of a canoe.
They're not even motorized.
It can go on water, go on land. Anyways,
Now that they got the wheels back on the canoe and they're heading down the trail, the portage, they're on their way to Issac Lake. They're going to be there before too long. From time to time, we're going to stop and have a bit of a rest. Then we'll carry on until we get to the other end of the portage and back to the lake again. This will be Issac Lake. At this point, we probably don't realize that we're coming near to the end of our portage, and we'll be on Issac Lake. It's going to be a big lake, probably some big waves. While on the portage in the timber, we didn't see as much smoke. That's going to change now. Now's the time to get our food and camping gear off the canoes. You'll catch rainbow trout and also dolly barden. Then you get some bull trout and also kokanee on the Bowron Lake chain. So you'll always have some food to eat there. Now we're at the north end of Issac Lake and looking down the lake south. It's one of the bigger lakes or biggest lakes, and you have to be more careful on this lake because of the wind that come up in the afternoon. So be careful with it. As you can see from the pictures, certainly the camping was first class. We had a great time there. We're going to get ready here before too long and start to head down Issac Lake and see what that is like. Also to see how the smoke is progressing up. Issac Lake will be one of the biggest lakes in the chain, so there'll be a lot of scenery to be able to see. I will show you some of the scenery, both in the daytime and later on towards the night. And we're starting to see more smoke all the time. I wonder if we're going to make our way through. We're going to be heading south now, and you'll notice quite a difference between the east and the west side of the lake, where one side has got the mountains and the other side has got more of the marshy, wet area. Although you can get some really rough weather on Issac Lake, we had clear sailing. We went right down to the other end with no problem. Wolverine Bay is very close to the north end of Issac Lake. As we continue to head south, we have a great lake, great place to camp, but we notice the smoke is getting thicker all the time. We wonder if the Ministry of Forests is going to be able to let us through to the rest of the lakes. You read different distances around the Bowron chain of lakes, but the one that seems to be the most practical is 116.4. Some are using GPSs, and I guess it depends where they go. It varies a tiny bit. You turn off 1 kilometer before Barkerville to go down to Bowron Lakes, to Bowron Lake, to go on your canoe trip. But if you got the time, go into Barkerville. It has all the historical information of the gold rush in the Caribou and how Barkerville was very famous for that gold. They put on quite a show with the can-can girls and the music and the dancing and a lot of the history of the Barkerville mining. Issac Lake is a fairly long lake, so we're going to have to get back to our reporting on Issac Lake and the things that we've seen there. And I know I've mentioned many times that they have great camping facilities there. They also got some heavy rain there as well, so be prepared for that as well. On the Bowron Lakes, there's 12 lakes, and it forms a parallelogram that will take you right back to basically where you started. It's like a big square. I tried to find out why they would call it the Issac Lake. It was one of the biggest lakes that they had there. And I wasn't able to find it, but I did notice that it flowed into the Issac River. Maybe that's it. But you might say, well, why did they call it the Issac River? Well, could it be because it flowed out of the Issac Lake? Okay, I haven't got a clue. But if I'm going to be a little more serious and look at some of the other possibilities, the actual English word that was used for Issac was laughter. Was those loons trying to tell me what the meaning of the lake was? They were laughing. Something to keep in mind on a trip like this. It's also good to have good food and also good friends where you can really enjoy yourself on the trip. Also, don't forget the waterfalls. There's a number of those. Issac Lake is 32.6 kilometers long, and it's like a big L turned upside down. So we are now heading down Issac Lake, and we'll be turning on the corner of the L pretty quick. All our other Wild Guy canoe trips were with the other camera. Sorry about what problem we had with this one. But we'll never stop and miss a meal. We're going to have something to eat first before we carry on. The food looks really good. The two animals that always stand out and impress me, one of them is the loon we talked about, and we've also the moose always impress me, and you will always find moose along the Bowron chain of lakes. Later on, I'll do a video about moose and moose hunting. My wife and I spent over 20 years doing that. Most of our hunting was from higher locations, calling them in. Okay, back to the Bowron Lake canoe trip. Each day that goes by, we're starting to see more and more smoke. You'll see the high haze there in some of those pictures. So it's just a matter of time, and I'm sure there's going to be something that's going to happen, or a sign that will be put in front of us, turned around. But we're hoping that's not going to happen. I think at this particular point, or someone near here, we got the message that they had closed down the Bowron Lake chain, and we were not going to be able to complete the full circuit. So you're going to start to see us play in the water and do a lot of stuff that we weren't doing before, like tipping over our canoes and submerging ourselves into the lake, and other activities like that just to keep us occupied. Just in the last few minutes, you're going to see a yellow canoe turned upside down twice and somebody floating around in the water. We weren't going to give up. We were going to continue on down no matter what the message was, and we were going to enjoy ourselves and make sure that the Bowron Lake chain would be one of great memories for us.
They're in Issac Lake right now, praying for wind.
Catch us if you can.
We got you.
For every negative thing that happened, there's also a positive thing in return. We got the smoke, but we don't have any mosquitoes anymore. Where did they go?
It's our second day. We're on Issac Lake. And Yogi's heading out for the water. We got the other guys coming in. They're out over there. So we just stopped for a little spell. How's the water, Yogi? A bit cold?
A little cooler than last lake.
Oh, is that right? Oh, so pretty soon you're going to see him dive in the water. Like I said, pretty soon you're going to see him dive in the water. There he goes. That's Yogi. He's a new addition to our team this year. Great guy.
No, it's just a leg stretch. It's a leg stretch for old codgers.
Oh, this is
If you're a lot old, keep going. Huh?
There's Brian and Bob coming in.
Yeah.
We're camped somewhere down Isaac Lake.
Here comes John Waters. How was your day so far, John?
It's been awesome.
It's been
Great
awesome.
weather and a great camping spot.
And what about all the great people you're with?
Who's that?
Don't forget me, eh?
Yeah, we had some great people too. We left them behind. But
Okay. And we got some tents coming up over here. This is Bob and Brian. They're from Victoria, but we're gonna excuse.
well, let's get it right, eh?
Yeah. Comox. There's just a difference, is there?
It's all the same to these mainlanders.
Okay.
Nothing but useless politicians who live in Victoria.
Okay.
We're the real people that live
Okay. Now, they're putting up their tent right now, so I'll leave them alone for a little while, just a sec. We're going to stay here tonight. It's a 5-star hotel, but if it gets cloudy, it might go down a few less stars, just a sec. Here's all the stuff we got to pack. There we go. I'll just pop over here a little bit. There's some more over there, some here. And here comes Mark Baylor. He's packing a few things in. And my tent's going up right now. We got Doug and John putting a tent up. I'm just doing some filming here. But sometimes you gotta take on the hard ones. Okay. So, there he is.
That can be done.
Well, this is our happy hour. Viewers seem to be getting pretty happy by now.
I've been blaming my camera for some of the poor quality of pictures and that, but you probably see here that some of it is smoke as well. But we also had some issues with the camera having difficulty focusing.
This is the guy that doesn't exist. Hi, Yogi. I think you exist.
No, I don't really exist.
This sounds like the married couple that had a gold mine and they separated, and she got the gold and apparently he was the one that got the shaft.
So this is John and Mark, and they're making some, what kind of chicken? Curried chicken?
It's Barbara Waters chicken.
Barbara Waters
on the
chicken.
run.
And
Waters.
did you guys spill it?
No, we didn't spill this chicken.
Okay.
This is unspilled chicken.
Well, anyways, Barbs, if you get to see this movie, thank you very much for the chicken. I'm sure it's going to be great.
I guess we can look forward to that chicken dinner this evening. That's going to sound like a good meal. And once the other boys get the dishes washes, wow.
Doug is blowing up his bed right now. How's your bed coming, Doug?
I don't have enough hot air.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to get back down to Victoria and get some more of that hot air. You don't want to comment on that one, eh?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
There's Mark down there. Or John Waters. Talking about John Waters, he's in the water again. Hi, John.
Hey, Pat, just keeping my glasses clean.
Your glass is clean. I'm just going to shoot up that mountain.
It's a nice view.
Yeah. Pretty nice view. We're going to go right up to the top of it. And there we go. Well, it's dinner time. They've all rushed off to eat.
There may be no other place in the world where you can start and finish a canoe trip in the same location and never travel over the same body of water twice. Each evening you can have a beautiful campsite reserved for you. Also too, you've got pads for your tent and all kinds of conveniences.
Well, there's Brian. He's got his camera out. He's getting ready for our dinner tonight. And I'm getting a bit of a picture of him while he's taking a picture of me.
Some of these conveniences I talked about would be things like bear caches, outhouses, fire pits, and we got also a nice lake to swim in, beautiful scenery.
Yeah, we got Doug eating over here, and he's putting some
Peppers on.
kick-ass stuff on his food. That's what they
Thank
call
Barbara for making this.
it. Ted, yes, Barbara, thank you very much for all this. That's really wonderful.
The wild guys seem to be pretty into this eating dinner that Barb provided, and dinner is always really quite important, and we try not to miss out on that, and we generally have probably more food than what we should have. We try to bring along food that will not be heavy, and also that will not spoil. So you'll notice here that even though that we have chicken in here, but we get rice and things like that, that will stay preserved well and be fairly light. Jim is off Vancouver Island. I believe he told me it was on Sydney, and he's also got his dinner here and ready to go. Then the next one with his food is going to be Yogi. Yogi come from the Maritimes, and I talked to you a fair amount about Yogi. You see him lots of times out in the middle of the lake, and his head is bobbing up and down. He's a great swimmer, and cold weather or cold water don't bother him. This is Mark Baylor here. He also lined up for his dinner, and Mark has been with us on most all of our canoe trips and the rafting trip that we had as well. John is another one of the regulars of the Wild Guys that has been pretty well on all of the trips that we've had. He's been great at helping us do the planning and preparing for these trips. He's just chowing down for his dinner. His wife made dinner for us, so that was great. These are the mountains on the Issac Lake. As you're looking facing north, they would be on the east side, and they're somewhat covered in smoke right now. Anyways, we're going to get a little further down and see how dense the smoke is further near the end of Issac.
Our shelter we built so we could go underneath it and eat it and not have to worry about any rain or anything. Or bugs. It's a blue sky, but you never know. Anything can happen in this world.
And will.
They're watching fish jump. Apparently they're tree fish.
Yeah, they're part of the local synchronized swimming team.
Swimming team, okay. They're jumping tree at a time.
Yeah,
Now, doing a little bit of research, I guess they aren't synchronized swimmers, but they like to jump out and get flies and other things to eat. Or the other reason is they don't want to get eaten. When they have predators coming after them, they'll take a jump out of the water and hopefully get away from their predator. So either they're eating or they're going to get eaten. It is important for us to have a clean camp, not only for your own health, but also too, if you've got a clean camp, you're not going to be attracting various different animals, including the bears. And on Bowron, there is not only black bears and brown bears and cinnamon bears, but there's also grizzly bears. So you want to look after that, and having the lake alongside you, like John here, you're able to wash out all your cooking pots and your utensils and get ready for the next meal.
Okay, is it about just washing and
gold.
what?
For gold, I think. Yeah.
Pea-sized nuggets.
Yeah. I got another one. Us environmentalists, tree hugger guys, I tell you, we're catching the other ones. According to Mark, this is a very, very beautiful spot. So if you're not impressed, it's his fault.
You're brain dead.
There we go. Okay, just a sec. We got Yogi here. We got Jim over there. He's got a camera. He flashed. We started off with the lead cap on. It's a better picture than what I got right now, I tell you.
Got a real good one turning around.
In the first half of the trip?
This is the beauty that Mark talked about again.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't that big of beauties, but
Gonna work?
The Wild Guys have did a lot of canoeing and also rafting across British Columbia, and that would be both south, east, west, and north. as well as the Northwest Territories and the Yukon. I would have to say that the Bowron Lakes would be rated top, and when it comes to the camping spots for putting your tents up and the facilities that you have. We would like to make a shout out to the Parks branch who's been caring for these facilities for us. They've been doing a great job.
Well, we're going for a swim there. He's got his trusty white pure swimming trunks on.
Yeah. It's a tough life.
And then we got Yogi out there. He's just like a fish, that guy.
The fish we can't catch.
Well, Yogi, how was the water?
Oh, refreshing. It's about the same temperature as the last place,
Is that right?
but it's cleaner here.
Cleaner.
Was. It was cleaner. Doug's in the water.
Doug's in washing his underwear. It's like a couple of years now.
Yeah, I got a nice little valley here. At least I think I have.
Got the laundry done, Pat.
Good.
Due to the forest fire and the smoke, a lot of it has to be cut away. It just blurred out, the smoke.
Doug's got his line. Now this Bob's going in. Bob's going to do the real brave, manly dive right in there. Bob, show him how it's. You're on film, Bob. Just give it to him.
Candid camera.
Yep, he did her. He's going to come up gasping for air here in a minute.
He's part loon.
Some parts of the lake is smokier than other parts. Hopefully we get out of this smoky area.
Now, the guys that aren't out yet in the water, one of them was over here. The other guy is
Come up down the bay down there.
Mark, Doug, Brian, and John. They're going in shortly, so we'll get them on too.
Well, unless John's going in with his camera, I don't think.
Mark Baylor, one of the original wild guys, had his brother out from the Maritimes. His name was Yogi. I'm pretty sure he must have grew up on the water because he was an awesome swimmer. You'd look out and you'd see him in the middle of the lake with his head popping up and down. And I had trouble getting my toe in the water at some places because it was pretty cold. But I tell you, he just was like a fish to water when he was going in the lakes here. So it was great to have him along. He was a lot of fun with us. Actually, once you got into the water and got used to it, it was actually a nice lake to swim in. And you can see here, right through the water, you can see the gravel on the bottom. So it was really quite good. I was just a little bit soft getting started is all. The lake bottom here had fine gravel, not very big. It wasn't too bad to walk on. We had some that were actually very, very sandy, and it was really great. It was nice to walk out on, nice to swim in as well. Just had to get over that first initial getting into the water. Much of the time we had when we were in the campsites, we were either eating or we're telling wild stories to each other, or we were out in the lake and just enjoying ourselves and swimming. With the fire, it slowed us down, so we got to do a lot of these things. Sorry the smoke is messing up our video.
We paddled into another site.
Some sites had kitchens, but this one that we were in here had no kitchens, but we did very well. We didn't need a kitchen, but it had great camping facilities.
But we got a beautiful beach. And everybody's pretty well got their tent up. So we're doing pretty good. So later on in the day, we'll get some more prints. I might take a shot of the water out there just a sec.
You may notice that the pictures are getting a little bit hazy and a little bit foggy right now. What it is we have smoke coming in. We got a fire on the southeast end of the lake, and we're not sure how things are going to go here, but we're heading towards the fire, and we'll see if we can make our way all the way through, unless we get shut down and turn back to go all the way back around the way we've come. Terry Carlson was patrolling the Bowron Lakes, a popular canoe circuit in the BC interior when she realized something was wrong. Guess what? That's the lake we're on. Carlson, a backcountry operator contracted to the Bowron Lakes Provincial Park, started reporting the plumes only to discover fire had broken out across the region. In fact, it was the same day 3,600 people were ordered from their homes throughout the interior, including 2,050 properties in the Caribou Fire Center, which contains the Bowron Lakes. This was some of the prints of the fire in that region. Terry Carlson was patrolling the Bowron Lakes. She and her fellow park operators had to get 250 campers out in less than half the time, and it had to be done by boat and in some cases on foot. And we were some of the ones that they were to notify. While there were some small motorized boats on the lake that were able to do evacuees and help people that were in need, still, for those that were there to leave, it meant a long trek for them, and not just with their canoes, but also they had to carry their gear and their canoes to get to the other lake in order to make their way out. But remember, we called ourselves the Wild Guys, and we were able to go down to Issac River before turning around and heading back. So we couldn't go any further than that. At that point, we were going to have to turn around. But legally, we could continue on till the end of the lake, and then we'll turn around. So we're going to continue on down the lake to the Issac River, and then we're going to have some fun down there. We're going to be going through the rapids with our canoe, and we're also swimming through those rapids as well. We had a blast. So it wasn't discouraging for us. We knew it was for our protection. And I hear that all of those, even in the areas that they had to get out of right away, all took it very well, realized that it was important to adhere to the instructions of the camp warden. So for that reason, we continued on down Issac Lake as if nothing was going to happen, knowing that that was the end of our trip. We would have to turn around.
Now this is an alcohol-free trip?
It is indeed.
Oh, hey.
Cough syrup.
Cough syrup? You gotta cough a little. Okay. You got any cough syrup there, Jim? Oh, shoulder pain.
Back pain.
Back pain. How are you doing for medicinal purposes there,
For medicinal purposes?
John?
I'm well endowed.
Is that right?
What the hell did that got to do with medicinal purposes?
What's that black canteen that Doug has got down there?
Hey, Doug.
That must be for foot pain, I guess.
Sleeping with him.
Oh, rubs off.
It doesn't help the video much for laughing after he says that. Though.
Even though we got the bad news that, yes, we can continue down to the end of Issac Lake and do some, go through the rapids in the Issac River and do some swimming through the rapids, we were told that that's the end of our trip. We're going to have to turn around and go all the way back out the same way that we come in. But at the same time, you'll notice before this, there was a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, and we weren't going to let this spoil our trip. It was a great trip so far, and we've got a lot of fun ahead of us as well, especially in the Issac River where we spent some time. Plus, before we got down to Issac River, as we were heading down the Issac Lake, we bumped into a big bull moose that was feeding on the edge of the lake. And as we were coming by, he just looked at us and kept on chewing on all this green stuff he was pulling off the bottom of the lake. And it was great to be able to see yet another moose on our Bowron trip. You might say, I don't see no big bull moose. Well, guess what? Just keep watching, because he's going to be popping up here either on the way down or the way back. And we definitely seen one, and you're going to see him as well. We weren't in a big hurry to get down to Issac River, even though we had a lot of plans there in the rapids going through the chute. But we did a lot of camping and just continue on our way. Oh, the reason we didn't see the pictures of that big moose is he wasn't there on the way down. He's on the way back. I guess we'll have to wait a little bit.
Third day on the water, fourth day that we've been traveling, and this is what we're looking at out our tent deal. I'm just going to go around the street. There's our canoes docked for the night.
So it's just about time for us to cash in and have a sleep overnight, even though you can look right out your picture window of your tent and see a beautiful sunset. And then we also can look forward to yet a new day tomorrow. Not sure how long it's going to take us to go to sleep tonight. Quiet, Mark. Quiet, duck. We're still looking pretty shiny and clean. We'll catch you on Series 3 of the Wild Guys on Bowron Lake. So watch for Series 3. We'll close with a shot of Issac Lake. Watch for Series 3. Patrick and the Wild Guys.